how we played on Tuesday night. I thought we had practiced well, and then, I thought we played well today. We did some good things. I loved our resiliency. We get down 10 in the first half with 6 and change and left in the first half. And came back and take the lead at the half. Then I thought we played really well in the second half, and then kind of had some, plays didn't go our way, and then they made some plays, and all of a sudden they've gotten the lead after, you almost felt like we had played, with the lead the majority of the second half, and now all of a sudden that's gone, and I loved our response to that. And then we get down 5 with a minute to go, and we had turned it over a couple times. Malcolm, 5 turnovers. He had a terrific game. 5's awful high for him. You don't typically see that. He had a couple of them there late, and then had the resiliency to come up with the big play on the inbound play and the 2 free throws that he made. And so once again, come back again to tie it, to get it to overtime. The big stop at the end of regulation. Those guys really buckled down, and I could just see it in their eyes in the timeout. I loved what I saw. I loved the look in their eyes today. I thought that in overtime, obviously the zone was good to us. We were able to get a little bit of a lead there and absorb some. We missed some free throws there late, but all in all, the thing I'm going to take out of this is just the resiliency that we had. I mean, I just thought we were really tough mentally, and showed great poise. I've been encouraging them to do that and told them that's what it takes. We haven't been great at that at times, but today was a major step in the right direction when it comes to poise and grit. And I thought our guys on the backboard, Hill, Finke, Morgan, were just terrific. Rebounding the ball. I thought that we made a lot of strides. Certainly got contributions from a lot of different guys, but it's definitely something to build on. As we head into, we'll have tomorrow off, and then we head into a 2-game homestand here with 3 days to prepare for Ohio State. Questions?
John, you really packed it in defensively and forced them to beat you from 3, and Mav and Finke got to play together a little bit. Just, I know that hadn't worked in other games. Just why did that work today?
Yeah, I mean, it had worked some in possessions in other games, and I've been leaning that way anyway, coming into this one, to be honest with you, because of how we had practiced, and I felt like we're heading into a road game, coming off of performance where the first 13 minutes in Bloomington, I thought we played really well when I looked at the film, and then the last 27 we didn't play very well. And so I was interested to see our response. I thought the response our guys had in practice, from the standpoint of the way the older guys played and led, was really good. And so I kind of had that gut today, obviously thinking that Thorne might be able to go anyway. And then he does not able to go, so then you toy with, do you still go that direction? And we ended up kind of staying with that, and I thought that was good for us, and I thought they played really well together.
You mentioned Thorne. Just what went through that this week? Did you plan on starting him in this game?
No. He's a long way from that. From starting. Sore. Had some pain after Thursday's practice, and again, I'm leaving all those decisions are with our medical personnel, doctors and trainers. They make all those decisions. When they tell me he's available to play and he's not in pain and he's not sore and he's not hurting, then we'll play.
Did you sense that Minnesota was pretty deflated in overtime, just all emotion?
Not until we got a few stops. But I thought their kids played hard. Obviously they had a 5-point lead with a minute to go. I thought they played hard. And then the overtime, we were able to string some stops together and some scores together. But I didn't necessarily feel that way. I really didn't. I thought once we got like a 9-10 point-ish lead, maybe a little bit, but not until that point.
What was going through your mind when Finke went down, grasping for air?
Well, at that point, I didn't know it was air. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get hit like that, any player. It was totally clean, just an unfortunate foul, just happened or whatever. But what I think now is much different than what I thought 3 or 4 years ago. Let's put it that way. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Because we've been through a lot of those. But when I got out there, he told me he was just winded. He had some blood in his mouth, which was good for him. It'll toughen him up a little bit.
John, given everything that this team's been through, I mean, in the huddle, did you it was a weird game of all these runs that were happening. Did you ever not see the look in their eye, or the constant?
No, I thought they were really poised throughout. I did. I didn't think we played great early with shot selection, Jeremy. I thought Minnesota played really well early, and I thought we helped them by taking some tough shots. Once we got settled down, we finished 9 for 14 to end the first half. 7 of the 9 field goals were assisted. We had 17 assists in the game. I thought we executed really well and got back to moving the ball, screening better, cutting harder, had great purpose offensively, and even had good purpose when we were down 10 in the first half, or the last minute when we're down 5. Like, that was what I was wanting to see from our team. Can we start to do those things and sustain those things on a consistent basis? And I thought today was a step in the right direction.
Hill really got you back in it with his consecutive free throws right down the stretch.
Yeah, he made big ones there. Those 2 were big. The stop was big. He has a knack for getting the line. He's a great offensive player. I thought he really competed today defensively. He was great on the backboard, and he and Nunn made some big plays for us there, late in the game. And the thing I most appreciate about Malcolm was that, he had the 2 plays that didn't go his way where he kind of lost the ball twice. But then he came right back, and we ran the play underneath for him, and he got fouled and stepped right up and made the 2 free throws and was able to get to the next play. I thought that was a great sign of maturity. It's what great players do. Things don't always go your way. I loved his response today. I was very proud of him.
How have you seen him develop here? He scored 1,000 today. Obviously, as he starts to mature.
Yeah, no, he's getting better. I think the last 3 or 4 games, even the one we played Tuesday, where our team didn't play particularly well, he's had a look in his eye of where he's starting to get more consistent with what he does and how he approaches each game. And we're challenged to do the same in practice. As I've said before, the sky's the limit for him. I really believe in that kid. I think he's got a chance to be great. I think he's good now, and but I think he's a guy that can play both sides of the ball, 2-way player. I think he's can play multiple positions. We're certainly glad that we have him. We love having him.
Jay Tate 40 minutes, Khalid Lewis 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was it. Men didn't necessarily plan on that going into the game. Khalid did some good things in practice. It was just a gut feel. Tate had that look in his eye, was leading well. Obviously had 0 turnovers in 40 minutes. I mean, he's tremendous taking care of the ball with 6 assists. Had a great pulse in the game. And then Khalid's got a little bit disrupted in the first half with the foul trouble. He got both fouls that he had tonight were in the first half. We didn't necessarily plan on. Usually it's 20-20 or 25-15 one way or the other. Those guys kind of platoon that position, and we're very fortunate to have both of them. But tonight it was just kind of a gut feel thing. I thought Tate's voice, his ability to take care of the ball, get us into what we're doing offensively and defensively was really, really good. So we ended up sticking with him.
Kind of going back to the defense a little bit, and to pack the zone tight and maybe make Minnesota beat you from 3. Was that something you felt like you'd have an advantage there if?
Well, tonight, obviously, they've got some good shooters. King can shoot the ball. Mason can shoot the ball. Bugs is a good percentage 3-point shooter. It just happened that we knew we were going to play some tonight, Scott. We weren't sure how much. That it was more of a game-time decision. We wanted to implement it early and get a feel for how both defenses were functioning out there, and we just thought it was pretty good for us, especially in the first half, and obviously it was good for us in the overtime.
Kendrick bounced back with some big shots. I know he's got such a high expectations on him, but what did you see out of him?
Well, he struggled a little bit early too.
Right.
That's the beauty of the game for me. That's what I'm taking out of it more than anything else. It was not necessarily pretty all the time or smooth. We 10-point deficit first half. Hill turns it twice and then has to step up and make 2 free throws. Nunn had some plays in the first half and shots that didn't go his way, and some funky finishes off one leg that didn't hit the rim. But yet late in the game he steps up and makes big plays. I just think that's a form of mental toughness that great players have to have, good teams have to have, and that's the thing I probably take away from the game the most was just our mindset as a group and certainly with some of the individual players.
He's had a lot on his mind the last couple of weeks. What conversations have you had with him about that mental mindset and bringing it like that?
A lot of conversations I do with all those guys. I spend a ton of time with our guys, a ton. I love our guys. Part of it is you got to be hold guys accountable. It's part of being a coach. And part of it's patting them on the back. Part of it, the biggest thing is trying to get them to do things that you know they can do, that, you know, they may put self-imposed limitations on themselves. You know, I want them to bust through those ceilings. And, you know, we spend a lot of time with our guys, our whole staff does. We have great relationships with our players. That allows us to coach them. So when I can say what I said on Tuesday night, I can do that because we put time in with those guys. They know we love them, you know. And, you know, we have a connection with those guys, and our staff really works at it. I've got a great staff. We spend a lot of time with them. We still have a long way to go, a long way to go. And, but I thought tonight was a step in the right direction.
For a while, John, this felt like the Mav Morgan game.
Yeah.
The points we know he can do, but the 7 rebounds, I mean, he had 6 in the first 6 games, I think, in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
How do you get him to
He
keep
practiced so well the last 2 days. I had, which is between me and him, some text that we exchanged the other night about how well he had practiced. And, you know, that we needed to see that on Saturday, and he played like he practiced. And Dustin's been on him to rebound. You know, I think he told Dustin his mom's been on him to rebound. So today he did a good job. I thought he was at least active. He pursued them, and hopefully it's something Mav can, you know, we'll build on, and we'll continue to do that for us consistently.
How hard is it to
Last question here.
How hard is it to light a fire under Mav because he's so laid back?
At times it can be hard, but deep down he's a great teammate. First of all, he cares about the team, and I do think, you know, today you saw him and that play about as well as he's played at both ends and maybe in his career, and he played that way in practice the last 2 days. He was really on it. He led us in, you know, we call it Augustine rebound jersey for 2 days back to back in practice. You know, he's never done that back to back before. So he did that, and then today he gets 7 boards today in the game, and there's carryover. And so that's a good thing for him to understand and realize that, hey, you know, most of the time, certainly not all the time, but most of the time you play like you practice. And he certainly played like he practiced today.
Okay.
Thanks.
In front of our bench, Illinois players.